Welcome to the Restoration Group podcast, where we are often silly, but always serious about investing in Oklahoma City leaders who desire to integrate their work into their Christian faith. I am your host, Clay Steves. Today I am joined by my co-hosts, Aaron Scott and Michael Mead. Team, what is your favorite airplane?
Air Force One.
Ooh, good quick response. I like it. You are just
paper? What kind of question is this?
Well, we're going to be back on the plane theme again today.
Honestly,
as we're starting a new series of Business Made Simple again.
If you want me to name types of planes, you need to give me a heads up.
Yeah, I actually thought about that last night because I knew this question was coming, and I was like, I'm not going to give her a heads up. And I was seeing paper was really creative. Well done.
Air Force Two.
Air Force, also a Marine one. No, it's not an airplane. Airbus A380. If anybody wants to know my answer, it's a great plane. No, nobody. Oh my goodness, what was the whole episode on airplanes?
You don't know anything about the Airbus 380.
Well done. That was really good. Nice segue to the airplane, because today's
listeners,
episode
comment in the
about your favorite
on
type
Instagram
of airplane.
About your favorite type of airplane.
Well, we just offended somebody that really cares about
me.
Yeah. Okay,
I am who you offended, but
fine.
it's fine. It's all good, because today we're launching another series out of our Business Made Simple content. We did a 3-part series previously, kind of overlaying this new product that we have picked up as an organization for our business coaching. And it's from Donald Miller, his Business Made Simple product. Uses an airplane. I know Michael is drawing an airplane right now, and so he'll break that down for us. And so we had such, I think, good banter. The content was so great on the last time, talking about the an overview, the sales and marketing aspects. We're actually going to come back now and spend 3 episodes in a row talking about the cockpit, talking about the front of the plane, the leadership aspect. And so, Michael, I'm going to pass this to you and let you begin to take the episode away.
Yeah. And I even want to invite people into like the systemic decision we made on doing the sales and marketing series first.
Ooh.
Oftentimes for businesses, that's a felt need, because that's the thrust. That's what really on paper gets results. I should say results that people measure financially.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to start with that as a felt need that businesses have to help them accelerate. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't have your leadership component, the cockpit, figured out, you can fly a plane really fast, but you might not get anywhere.
Or where you want to go.
That's right.
You might get somewhere, but not where you want to go.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so this series is really designed to take that thrust and use it on purpose to get to a destination that you want to get to, that you want to plan for in advance. And so if you haven't listened to that series, that's a great one on the marketing and sales engines. So you got the engines.
Yep.
We'll be in the leadership cockpit for this series. The other parts of the plane, you have the fuselage overhead. So that's your people, your systems, your processes, operations. You've got your products, which are the wings. So it gives the plane lift, the thing that you sell, the service you provide. And then you have your fuel tank, which is cash flow. And you know what we always say, when you run out of fuel, the plane will crash. And so you do not want that to happen.
Nope.
You want to make sure you're managing your cash flow and maybe even preparing yourself for a rainy day, bad weather.
Yeah.
Whatever analogy you want to go with there. But when we talk about the leadership part of the plane, the cockpit, we're going to refer to it as the guiding principles.
Yeah.
So that's really the like granular thing that we're talking about here. So you'll hear us say guiding principles multiple times throughout the next 3 episodes.
Guiding principles.
Aaron, you want to get in on that?
I'm going to wait till more opportune moment.
Great. So Aaron's got hers locked and loaded, ready to pull out at any moment.
Guiding principles.
There it is.
Yeah.
Not a girl.
Thank you for that. And the guiding principles consist of 3 different things. So when we're talking about the leadership cockpit, there's 3 components. You have your mission statement, your key characteristics, and your critical actions.
Guiding principles.
And that consists of your guiding principles. Yes. So we might even say your guiding principles package. And when we say that, we mean your mission statement, key characteristics, critical actions. So the next 3 episodes, we will be diving into those more deeply. Today, we're really focusing on the mission statement component of that. Little teaser, key characteristics are the behaviors or values you and your people need to have.
Yep.
And then critical actions are the key actions that you need to take on a daily basis. So we'll get into those more in the next episodes. Today, we're talking about mission statement. And before we go deeper into this model, I would love to hear from both of you. I know you both have a lot of familiarity with the phrase mission statement. I think it means a lot of different things to different people. Mm-hmm. So take Business Made Simple out and just go to your...
It's hard to do, Michael.
It is now. It is now. Go to your former self. What does mission statement mean to you, or how have you used it in the past?
I think in the past, I won't like spoil anything here, but in the past, I've always experienced a mission statement being more value or like characteristic based, if that makes sense. Like not something measurable, I'll say specifically, something a little less tangible, more of like a character quality, or like as a business or as an organization, this is what we aim to do, but in a less measurable way. And I think I'm going to venture to guess that's probably a lot of people's experience. And so I'm setting the stage for, in a second, you're going to hear mission statement under the lens of through the lens of Business Made Simple. And it's going to be different. And so that was like a mindset shift for me. And so just listeners, you're not alone.
Yeah, I think she did a great job. Very high level why, has more flowery language, inspirational language. That would have been my kind of a company having a mission statement. It's the thing that's on the wall that is kind of this overarching, esoterical,
never changing.
Yeah, why?
That's a good point. I think the never changing, and also I know you're kind of using it as an example on the wall, but I think that's a really, I would say a lot of people probably feel that too, of like, it's something that you're putting on your social media. It's something that you're, maybe even putting on a notebook, or, even something to your clients. Like, everybody knows what your mission statement is kind of the world that I am more familiar with prior to this.
Website header. Like it's everywhere. Yeah. And I'm with you guys. That was kind of my experience and exposure to a mission statement. And I think for people, I just want to make sure we're not saying don't do that, what we're describing, where we are calling it something different. So when we say mission statement, we mean something different. I also don't want to get in like a vocabulary fight. So if you have a mission statement that you love, that's fine. You can keep it. And honestly, you can keep calling it that. For what we're talking about today, you could also think about it as a goal statement. So that's for people that are just like, no, I have a mission. We've had it for 20 years. Okay, great. This is a goal statement. Yeah. We call it a mission statement, and we're going to continue to call it a mission statement.
When we say mission, what do we mean with that though?
Yeah. So that's as we get into what we mean by saying mission statement, I think about it was really helpful for me to think about it from a like military perspective of like a military mission, which has a very clear starting point, a very clear objective, and a very clear end. So like we know when we have completed the mission. And so it's almost like an assignment. And so that is how we're using that, where we have a mission as a business, and it's actually defined by time. So it's time bound, and there are measurable objectives to help us know, did we accomplish this mission or not? So let's just dive into the framework here for what we are going to be talking about when we say mission statement. So the formula that you can use is we will accomplish X by Y because of Z. So we will accomplish X by Y because of Z. So let's define those letters. X are the economic objectives that enable your business to stay in business. So they are things that move the bottom line economically. They're numbers, and it's revenue, sales. It could be a lead metric that directly contributes to revenue, but it's very black and white, measurable, generally revenue based. So X is your economic objectives. By Y is the time. So when will we accomplish this by? We would say that should be 24 months or less to keep it relevant. And so you're kind of looking for the tension there, where if it's 5 years away, that feels so far that there's no urgency. If it's 6 months away, it's like, okay, what can we reasonably accomplish in 6 months? So I think 18 to 24 months is kind of a sweet spot on the time, and that you can accomplish a lot, but then it's also like you go from 24 months to 23 months to 22 months. And so that clock, you feel a little urgency there on the time. And then the because of Z does capture the why. Why does this matter? Like we're not out to just make as much money as possible. We want to connect it back to something meaningful. Like we're doing this for a greater reason than just trying to make money. And Aaron, you were talking about a lot of mission statements are social media, website, part of marketing. What we're talking about here is really intended to be internal for a business and not to be customer or client facing. So this is an internal mission that we who work at this place are on together, and it's just for us. And so that's kind of a different way to think about it as well. So as we've introduced this to Restoration Group, we're doing it in our business. Like we said in our last series, we smoke what we sell.
Yeah,
and I'm going to keep saying that because it's just fun.
We drink our own Kool-Aid.
We drink our own Kool-Aid. It's another way to say it.
We don't want to be smoking today. We can just drink Kool-Aid.
That's right. So as we have learned this new idea behind mission statements, what has the experience been like for you guys in shifting your mindset and introducing it to our company?
I loved the objective economic factors that it has in it. Because we've had more what would be kind of traditional mission statements that we talked about before, and even in other systems that we've implemented where there was kind of some time-bound elements and goals, but they were much more qualitative than quantitative. And I've really appreciated the quantitative nature of the economic objectives, which is the X in that XYZ model that you described. And so having real clear, these are the economic objectives we want to hit. I also loved the mix that you can do between lead and lag. And so we talked about, you can have two economic ones that are kind of lag metrics. We want to do this many thousands of sales or this many millions of sales. But you can do one that's more lead, like an input effort. Like we want to do this many sales calls, right? Which isn't necessarily the sales itself. That's the call on it. I enjoyed that balance, but the quantifiable nature of those goals. That's what I really appreciated with the model.
What about you, Erin?
I think the example you shared, as far as like shifting your mindset, the military example, I don't typically tend to lean towards military examples, but it makes a lot of sense when you say it like that, of like, this is a one-time defined mission that we as the employees are going on together. And when I think about it that way, that helps make a lot of sense. And I think even reinforcing what you said of like, if you have a more traditional mission statement, like, we're a company that loves OKC through our product or whatever, I'm making this up. You don't have to get rid of that. It's just a semantics thing of like, we're just going to call that something different, or you can keep calling it that and call what we're talking about something different. And so just not getting hung up on that. I think I was a little bit worried at first that I would get hung up on that, but it's been easier to embrace. And I think part of that is because we talk about it every week in team meeting.
Yeah, we do.
And we have, again, because it's different than our product, we love OKC through our product or whatever I said a minute ago. That is hard to define. It's hard to know if you're winning sometimes. It's hard to know, and if that's like into infinity and beyond, it's like, okay, well, at some point, that can start to feel a little like lackluster, just because it's like, I don't know if we are succeeding. I don't know if I, in my role specifically, am succeeding. And so I appreciate, although like it was a shift for me, I have appreciated the nature of like, okay, there are boundaries on this. There's a defined timeline, and we know what we're setting out to do. And it doesn't negate the fact that we also still have kind of more value-based things, that it's like, this is kind of who we are and the why, like you said. But this exists to help us make sure that we're staying on track to be able to do the things that are our why, because like you've said several times, this is relating it more to the cash flow, but if we're not meeting these objective things, then we are not meeting our needs for cash flow, then our business doesn't exist. And so then we can't reach the people that we're trying to reach. And so it's all connected. And once I've made that shift, it's been pretty easy to get on board with. So that's really good. And a couple of things to tease out there is like, in a business, there's just so many, this is what I believe about most people, is that they want to come to work and work hard. But if you don't direct them, they're going to fill in the space by working hard on something. And that can often lead to waste in the form of doing things that don't really matter, especially to an economic bottom line. And so you've got these people that are coming up, they love your business, they love your why, and they want to work hard. I think most people want to work hard. This is helping them direct their work to the objectives of the business and helping them connect the work that they do to why your business exists, so that they are
really remembering, in our case, like you said, we're putting this in front of our team every week. It's like every week we're reminding this is why we come to work and do what we do. And it matters. And it's also ideally designed to align our team on doing the right type of work and not just working hard on what they think is the right thing. And they might not really know. So I think that's an interesting nuance where, you know, I'm just against the whole ideology that like the new generation is lazy and whatever. Like I just don't think that's true.
No.
I think they just need strong leadership. They need clear direction, and they need to know why this matters and what does success look like. Erin just dropped her paperclip. She's kind of upset about it.
I am. Because
You need to go get it?
That was my
Just go get your
bullshit.
paperclip. It's all right.
You guys talk amongst yourselves.
We'll talk amongst ourselves. Everybody on the video, if you're not on video right now, I mean, Erin is going to get her paperclip. It's underneath
Retrieve.
there it is. We're good to go. I wasn't imagining that. You guys remember in Greg McEwen's Essentialism, there's the circle that has all the little arrows all around it, and they're all real small.
Yeah.
And then right next to it, there's a circle that there's one single line that's 8 times longer. And so the length of all the arrows combined is equal on the 2 circles,
Yes.
but yet one of them is moving in the same direction. I just was visualizing that as you were talking. What it's done for us is create alignment for all of us, the 3 of us and our other 2 employees at Restoration Group, that we know very clearly, here's the direction of our plane. Here's the thing that we need to be going to do every single week. And so I just think that's been one of the powerful things for us. Yeah.
And I think so to really drill down specifically on X, which is the economic objectives.
Yes,
So we will
which there are
accomplish
3 of.
X.
Yep.
There are 3 economic objectives.
Yep.
And really what we're looking for here are the 3 things that kind of think about the 80-20 principle. It's like, how can we capture the 80% of our result as a business? And so what that means is everything you do or sell is not going to be represented there. That's okay. And that doesn't mean you can't do the other thing.
Correct.
It's just saying, we're saying this is the most important thing. And I think that's an important distinguishing factor. An example is the orthopedic business, Clay, that you started, Habakkuk. They have dozens and dozens of different products.
Correct.
And the economic objectives for Habakkuk, all of those products are not represented.
Correct. The 20% of the products that produce 80% of the revenue are the ones that are focused on, because they produce the greatest return for the organization.
Yep. And so in the case of Habakkuk, they're going to keep those other products because they do serve people, they do serve surgeons, but they're just not the most important economic priorities.
Right now.
And
that's the beauty of the time-bound element of this mission statement, is that you can tweak that in time.
Yep. And so some of the pushback people can have on this is like, well, I can't pick 3 things. And it's like, well, you can. And when you do, that focus will help you actually accomplish your mission more successfully. You will be able to continue to provide jobs. Hopefully you grow, can provide more jobs, continue to serve people that you're called to serve. And
then you can adjust. And again, this is another powerful element for me with the system, is you can adjust the destination of the mission as maybe the market changes, as your company changes, as maybe a product goes away and you add another. You can change where the plane is going, to stay in that metaphor. And that's the beauty of this, is it allows you at different time-bound marks to be like, you know what? No, we need to tweak this, and we're going to stop flying to Hartford and we're going to go to Michigan. I don't know. Just pick a state. Okay, Oklahoma City. Let's go there.
Why not?
Yeah. I think that's the beauty of it, though, is that you have that choice, systemic built in to change your destination.
Yep. So we're talking a lot about we're measuring revenue, we're measuring sales, and obviously that's all really important. Erin, you lead our culture team. So that's a lot of the team development, the culture of our company. How do you, and maybe even how have you experienced the mission statement we're adapting, impacting our culture, and just your view of how you lead our culture team?
Yeah, I think it helps create a culture of clarity, and which I kind of already hit on, but just the ability to sit in team meeting every week and say, like, this is what we're focused on as a group. And of course, we all play our own individual and unique role in that. You lead business development and Sarah leads HR, and those things are very different. But when you're looking at your role through the lens of, okay, how is my role pushing forward our mission statement every week? Or how can I ensure that it does? Or like you said, if I'm trying to determine the priority of a task, I can filter it through that lens of like the most important things would be the things that push forward our mission statement. And then the other things would come next. So I think just creating that clarity for us as a team, but then also for individual team members. I think really clarity for employees is, my opinion, very professional opinion, is that is severely undervalued as far as like typically like management or HR, like down to the rest of their company or employees. I think clarity is very undervalued, and like what a big asset it is, what an important asset it is to an employee. And even though it is, I think, highly undervalued, I think if we all take a second and think about our work experience over the years, I feel like everyone could probably pinpoint a moment or a season or a role or whatever where they felt a lack of clarity and the stress that causes. And even to go to like a more of a restoration group principle that we believe in, of an integrated business and life where all of those things are really intertwined. It's like that stress is then going to affect you at home in your outside of work, whatever your outside of work time looks like, in your social life, in your relationships, in whatever that looks like. And I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but I think it really all comes back to anything in the workplace that can help provide clarity for employees is just a super high value that I think we should place a lot of importance on. And I think even checking in on that clarity, even after maybe you've had your mission statement in place for a while, and maybe you are talking about it every week in team meeting. And so I think it's easy then to assume like, okay, everybody's clear on this, right? And I think quarterly or something, just checking in, like, how's everybody feeling about this? Does everybody feel like they understand where this is coming from? Does everyone understand the part that they play in this? Continuing to check in on that clarity. But this gives a really great framework to come back to say, again, this is where we're headed together as a team. This is our mission. And so let's create that clarity and make sure that everybody understands the piece that they play in accomplishing that together as a team.
Yep. And we haven't had an open role since we've had this, but I think even from a hiring perspective, this could help us in a future hire determine what role we might need. And even like once it gets to an individual, be able to tell them, hey, do you resonate with this? What does this do for you? So we haven't got there yet, but I could see it impacting our hiring process as well. So we are rounding the corner on 2023. The year is coming to a close. We are in a mission statement. Our current mission statement ends December 31st, 2024.
Clock's ticking.
So we've got a year and change. Every week we've got a week less, and we feel that pressure, right? So that's our current mission timeline. How do the two of you see the mission that we're on impacting our organization over the next year or so?
I think for me, I go to the Z of the formula, which when you were leading us through the process internally, that was the part of the formula that I really felt could capture maybe the traditional type of mission statement that we even kind of brainstormed on at the beginning, right? Which was kind of the why. And I mean the WHY, why, not the letter Y. And so for us, it's because integrated businesses should thrive. And that matters deeply to us as leaders and business coaches who desire for leaders who want to integrate their work into their Christian faith. That is an undertaking. That is a life decision. And we believe those type of businesses should be thriving. Their marriages should be thriving. As parents, they should be thriving. The cash flow should be thriving. The customers they serve should be. And so we want to come alongside businesses to do that. And so my hope, to answer your question, what I hope over the next year is that as we live this mission statement out, more and more businesses in Oklahoma City, so thus our city will begin to have more integrated businesses that are thriving. Yeah. That's my hope. And then we really are experiencing where businesses are a part of the King's economy. Now I'm gonna get on my following Jesus box right now. But I shouldn't even compartmentalize. I'm just gonna be real explicit. Like that's the hope of what I desire, is that a lot of followers of Jesus who are in the marketplace, not as like working at a church ministry, but view their business as one. More and more of them will embrace how their business can be a part of that. And so that's what I desire for 2024 through our mission statement.
To 2024 and beyond.
That was good. The Buzz Lightyear.
So,
that was Aaron reference.
Well, an important thing you talked about there is ROI, so that integrated businesses thrive. Like we can't accomplish our financial objectives without adding value to integrated businesses.
You got it.
And that's what we want.
Yeah.
We don't, because that's not winning.
Yeah.
If we're making money, but we're not accomplishing the why, helping integrated businesses thrive, then we're actually not accomplishing our mission.
Correct.
And so that's why that connectedness matters.
Yeah.
What about you, Aaron?
I just want to second what Clay said. That was good. Well put.
High five.
Teamwork.
And what's exciting is that one, we have the potential to complete our mission before the timeline. So even just like,
what do you do if that happens, Michael? Like I
think you just
chips and queso.
Yeah.
Yes, queso quest.
Queso quest. You do a queso quest.
Queso quest first.
You do a queso quest, and then you come back and you create a new mission.
Yes,
because it's Simon Sinek talks about business as an infinite game. Ooh. And it's like we do have this defined thing, but once we hit it, we haven't arrived. We're not done.
Yep.
Like we have a queso quest. We celebrate.
Yes.
And then we create a new mission and go do it again.
Love it.
And it could be more of the one we just accomplished, or it could be a pivot. All the things. We'll keep you posted when we get there.
Can we build a bigger plane and fly further?
Yeah.
Like an Airbus A380?
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Yeah. Right now we've got a regional plane.
Right now we're in a paper plane.
Maybe at some point.
That's what we do.
At some point, maybe we can cross the Atlantic.
Yes.
Atlantic. So we do have 2 more episodes coming up in the series. Next week, we'll talk about the key characteristic component of the guiding principles. And then we'll finish up the last week with critical actions. As we talk about the 6 parts of the plane and specifically the leadership, you may be wondering, like, how am I doing? And we have a resource for you called My Business Report, where you can take a quick assessment. It's completely free. Free. It's Aaron's favorite.
Free.
Yep, she said it.
Love it.
There's a link for that in the show notes, and that'll take you 10 minutes. And when you fill that out, it's going to give you a report on how you're doing in your leadership, but also the other 5 parts of the plane that we've referenced. And it will also give you some insight into things you could do differently. So it's not just a diagnostic, it's a diagnostic plus how to improve in the areas you need to improve.
That's great. So
that link's in the show notes. Take advantage of that. And our verse for the episode comes from Psalm 127, verse 1. It says, "Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain." So that's the final thought for this week's episode.
Love it. Until next week, choose life. Thank you for tuning in. To find out more about how Restoration Group can serve you or your business, click the link in the show notes below or go to restorationgroup.co.